Shady's back. Tell a friend. JK. Alright. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Shim of Shim So Creative. If you haven't already, make sure you like and subscribe. This is part 7 of the Viki Sews pattern review series. Today we're going to be talking about Leora. I love Leora. So again, you're probably like, where is Leora? She's at the crib, but that's okay. We're still gonna get into it. I'll pop her picture here and I'll keep it here while I'm talking so you get a visual of what I'm talking about. But let's get into the pattern description.
Leora is a close-fitting dress with a chic silhouette. The front is made up of 2 separate parts, the front bodice and the front skirt. The center front bodice seam is finished with 2 channels. The tie pulls between the channels, shaping a bust gathering. The top edge of the front skirt is curved. The dress has long set-in fitted sleeves with a deep V neckline, and Leora is below the knee. The suggested fabrics are knit, so anything that's stretchable, soft, and breathable. And looks like you need about 2 to 2.5 maybe yards of fabric. You'll need a few notions like lightweight fusible knit interfacing, some knit bias tape, and of course your threads.
So let's talk about the design details and the fabric choice. I'll start with my fabric choice. So the fabric that I use is this like terracotta color rib knit fabric that I got from my friend. The fabric is actually very thin, so what I actually did for this project is I doubled up the fabric in every part of the dress. So I think I used probably like 4.5 yards of fabric to create this dress, but it actually does not take that much fabric. But that is the fabric that I used. It was the right color for a collection that I was creating last fall. If you want to see that collection, it's called the Fall Terracotta Collection, and there's actually a whole playlist with like really quick shorts of me showing the outfits, and then there are a few construction videos in there, including Leora. So go check out that playlist if you haven't already, if you want to see the whole collection from last year. So some of the design details. So Leora has this like nice like necktie situation that you can use to scrunch up the bodice part to like show more cleavage, or you can loosen it up to have a bit more coverage. It also has this keyhole feature in the center and the midriff area, and it's like a pencil skirt style on the bottom. So Leora is super cute for like going out. She's a date night dress, she's a brunch dress, she's really a whatever you want kind of dress. She could be an occasion dress, really depending on your fabric choice. So I chose this more like casual, very lightweight sweater knit to do mine in. So I think she's versatile, but she's casual. Like I can do her with some boots, or I can do it with some heels. But like, think if you use like a sparkly stretch fabric, she could be like a evening look. If you went with like something floral and maybe cut the sleeves short, she could be totally a spring dress daytime look. So I think she's very versatile in that this style lends itself to a lot of different options. Let's talk about the construction experience. So construction experience was pretty straightforward. If you read the directions, she's pretty easy. There's nothing really super challenging. I will say to turn the strap, make sure you have like a strap turner or a lot of patience if you opt to use a safety pin. And just make sure your fabric has a lot of stretch. That will make it super easy to turn that strap. Otherwise, you might want to think about constructing that strap in a different method. Otherwise, she's a quick sew. I actually sewed her on a TikTok live. It maybe took 2 to 3 hours to fully construct this piece, if that. Yeah, so I don't have any complaints about the construction process. It was pretty easy. It was constructing, you know, a maxi dress with some little details like doing this. So you'll, you know, do this part first, create your channels and stuff, and then from here it's smooth sailing. There's not a lot of pieces, so pretty easy. Let's talk about fit and style. So in terms of how I style this dress, I actually haven't worn it, but like I said, if I do wear, when I wear it, because I'm definitely gonna wear it, I would wear it with like, I'm a millennial, so some riding boots so I can be comfortable, and like a cute hat. And a little jacket I think would be cute, little fall casual look. I can also put a pair of heels on with her and wear her out, date night, brunch with the girls, you know, to a concert, whatever. So I can zhuzh her up. I think she's really versatile in that way. I would like to make her again in a red color because I really like the red color that Viki Sews uses in the promo photo. And I actually bought red Ponte to do that with. I just haven't gotten around to it. I would also love her in black, but I say that every video. I literally say that every video. Oh, this would be great in black because I love black. I'm wearing black today. Black is just so fall to me and it's just so easy to wear. I have tons of black shoes. I have tons of black purses. It's just an easy like color option for me to pull from quite quickly. So I do want to make another Leora. I don't know if I'll make her in black or red first, but she is coming again for sure. For sure. In terms of the fit for Leora, so out of the package, the keyhole area had a little bit too much fabric on the bottom piece on the skirt. So I did take the skirt in quite a bit, maybe an inch or so on each side. But again, I think it depends on your fabric. So the fabric that I used was this very thin sweater knit and it was pretty stretchy. I think what's ideal for this pattern is like a double knit, like a knit with more weight to it that doesn't stretch as much. So if you go in and do this with like a jersey, for example, you can totally do it for a jersey. Like I said, perfect for the summertime in that lighter fabric. It's gonna be too big because I don't think it's designed for such elasticity in the fabric. So when I redo it in the Ponte, it'll be interesting to see how much excess fabric I have. So I did take it in quite a bit in the skirt area, but the top was perfectly fine. So that's what I will say about kind of the fit process. Otherwise, I didn't add any length here, and on the model she comes about like mid-calf length. On me she comes like right below the knee, so still midi, but I would prefer it to be more calf length. So I think next time I'll add like 3 or 4 more inches so I could bring the hemline down just a little bit more. I think it adds a little bit more sophistication to the dress. So I do want the dress to hit me where it hits on the model. So those are some of the modifications that I would make in terms of fit. We're coming to the end. So pros, cons, and like my final thoughts. So pros, it's a quick sew. It's a quick sew. It's an easy sew. There's not a lot of complicated instructions. There's not a lot of extra notions that you need. I think you need the elastic for the neckline and you know everything to keep it nice and taut. But otherwise, you just need thread. You don't need fancy machines. You can overlock for sure to make sure your insides are nice and clean, but of course it's a knit, it's not gonna fray. So if you don't have access to an overlocker or you don't have an overlocker stitch on your sewing machine, you can still make this garment and it'll still look nice, especially on the outside. I like the versatility of it. Like I said, I want to make it even longer, but you can make it shorter. This is cute as a mini. You could change up your fabrics, do a sweater knit for something in a cooler climate. You could go jersey and make it suitable for something in a warmer climate. You can shorten the sleeves. I think it just has a lot of potential for hacking, and I like that because I love to hack a pattern and I love to get more bang for my buck. So an asymmetrical hem could even be a vibe, or putting a split in the front if you know how to maneuver that, or splits on the side is also an option. Taking it down to the floor, it gives it a like beachy vibe. I just think it's a great pattern, and especially if you catch it on sale or you use my code that you can find below in the description, you can save on the pattern and it makes it even more worth it. Cons for this pattern, I think cons for this pattern is maybe just the fit. Like I said, it'll be interesting to see when I do this again in like a double knit Ponte how much extra fabric, if any, there is in the waist part of the dress. Also, I have to know, anytime I do like a keyhole feature with Viki Sews, I often have issues with the keyhole laying properly. One issue is that my torso is short, so I probably just need to make those modifications anyways, but there was just a lot of excess fabric this time, and so I think that is more like a pattern drafting issue or a fabric issue. I'm going to figure that out, and maybe I'll come back and write a part 2 to this one once I figure out which one it is, so I can advise you on how to prepare for that better. But that would be my only con. And for me, of course, the length this time, I always get the longest length, which is like for someone who's like 5'10" to like 6'1" or something, which I'm only 5'8", so like the long is never really long enough for me when it comes to these patterns. So like I said, on the model it's hitting like cap, on me it hit right below the knee, so I would need to add a few more inches to the pattern. And I wish that if I had their ear, I would say, hey, your long is not quite long enough. Because imagine if I was 6'1", it would be to the knee. It would certainly not be midi at all. So that's a con for me, having to make that modification when I've already purchased the pattern long. Otherwise, I don't have any cons. I really like this pattern. I enjoyed making this pattern. It's easy to wear. I love something I could just throw on. It's not fussy, it doesn't ride up. I can appreciate this pattern. So that's it. My final thoughts is get the pattern. Get the pattern, enjoy making the pattern. If you have any questions about construction, please drop them down below. Please drop your comments. If you've made Leora, let me know, tag a video or something if you have one. And thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you in part 8. Bye.